implied from Representative Chandler that if we need 14 days, it will be past the deadline for when we have to, 14 days. Today is, we've got until the 30th of March, the 31 days or 30 days.
Yep, my suggestion didn't have a time limit. It just
Okay.
says whenever.
Representative McConkey, if you're saying 14 days, then,
I would, I'm not tied to the 14 days, and I'm willing to have a discussion as to how much time needs
Okay.
to pass.
so it looks like what we'll be able to do is have a copy of the contract, and then we'll figure out
Could I-
what we're going to do, which means we probably won't do it today. Yes, Representative McConkey.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. If I could ask the Commissioner and also Rob and the office here.
He's here.
Okay, the new contract, union contract, health insurance benefits, does it reflect the good work that Robin Reed is working on in reducing the county's portion of pay, or is the union contract presently costing more for health insurance? Is there an increase in the health insurance?
I believe you're on that committee, I believe it was 10% on health benefits.
Well, on the union side, so
Right.
this contract reflecting a 10% increase?
Yes.
I would agree, we need more review.
Okay, all right. So what we want is a copy of the contract for everyone. Representative Tregenza.
Yeah, I'd like to ask if we could have a copy of the previous year's contract as well.
It's a lot of paper, but we can do that.
Okay, and Representative McCarthy?
Yeah, I just want to second what Representative Tregenza just stated. Once we get the contract, a copy of the new contract, that you also maybe write down some notes so that we know every increase in cost items versus the previous contract.
Okay.
Okay,
It's up to you to figure out, Frank.
okay.
Give you some reading.
All right, so that's it with the nursing home contract. What we would like is a copy of it, and apparently also a copy of last year's contract. So we will, or 2 years ago, is it a 2-year contract?
It's a 2-year contract, that's correct.
Okay. All right,
And I would also say that if anyone knows of a negotiating attorney that would get less than $300 an hour, I'd like to hear about them. The one we had, as I mentioned probably previously, passed away through the negotiations. Fortunately, the person from the same firm agreed to I think he's getting $160 an hour that we agreed to way back, and so that's what this one is getting. Next year, or the following year, it could be close to $300 an hour. So if anybody knows of anybody, an attorney that is negotiating. I did it with the jail for a number of years, just between the jail and I, and we came to an agreement. We didn't have the union involved in it at all. The steward over at the jail has changed. He's a smart cookie. I gotta give him credit. He's come up with background information, what other counties are getting, and I gotta say, they are on the bottom of the list as far as increases in wages.
but at the moment, that's going to arbitration, and since we won't have it, is Representative Chandler, do we have to end up doing a possible supplemental budget because we don't have a contract from the jail?
You rather just vote it down,
Yeah.
then you don't have to have a supplemental budget.
Oh, but we would have to have a meeting to decide.
Just throw out options.
Wait, okay, we would
Right.
need to have a meeting to decide whether
Right.
we do supplemental or say no.
Right.
And if we say no, then they stay where they're at until they come to another place. Okay, Commissioner Sorensen.
If you have a supplemental budget, we need to have it before September, before the tax rate is set. Also, we need to notify all selectmen and have a hearing on it, whether we approve of it or disapprove of it.
Yep.
Those are the things with a supplemental budget.
So what you've got is business, you have work to do ahead of you until you come up with from arbitration, and if it's 3 months, then, we won't do anything with the jail until at least then. Yes, Representative Nero.
So we can't give final approval on this budget today until we get this information, am I correct?
Well,
Approve
from
other
the
things.
nursing home contract.
Yeah.
Unless we get it and we look at it, I would
I don't
assume,
think that- I can't look at it today, for
yeah,
goodness sake.
I assume that we're not gonna be able to do the full, because we won't be able to do, I assume, I'll have to ask you a question. Is it everyone's opinion that you're gonna want more than 2 hours to look at the contract? Yes.
Yes.
So we're not gonna be able to do the final budget on this today, but let's see if we can get through everything else. Because we do have a meeting scheduled for next Monday, the 26th. And let's see where we go and see what happens with what we're going. So let's take the page 1. Let's go to the expenditure budget. This is, and if anybody wants to either open the doors or open the windows, it's getting hot in here.
That was a good idea.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Just don't jump, Jim.
I might.
Okay, the commissioner's budget, under the updated one, are there any questions? The bottom line of the commissioners, under 4,100 is 232,900. Are there any questions? Representative McConkey.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Perhaps, was it an email attachment? I haven't seen the new equipment for all the departments. Is that here on the table?
No.
Yeah, tell me that again, there is a email for equipment?
I'm asking if it was an email that I missed, Madam Chairman, because I believe we specifically have asked for all equipment to be listed and brought before us.
I'm sorry, I didn't, it skipped my attention, I guess.
Okay.
I will say, under the new equipment, we've already had to buy a computer. Kathy Gary's computer went down a week ago, at least a week ago. We had to order a new one for her. That's coming out of that budget. Also, they told me this morning that the printer could go anytime, and there's not enough money in the balance to cover that. We'd have to find it someplace else in the budget if the printer went down.
Okay,
But we had to spend $800 for the computer, everything that goes with it. And that's the one that runs the payroll as well.
okay. Representative Babson, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted, taking a quick check here. The sheriff's department is receiving a grant, or said they were receiving a grant to move the dispatch center across the hall. And I believe in one of the commissioners' meetings I was at, you accepted the grant, because the sheriff can't
Right.
accept it. Why doesn't it show up here either in the sheriff's budget or the commissioner's budget, either this year or last year?
I thought we were talking about commissioner's budget, but it wouldn't show up in the commissioner's budget, it'd show up under the sheriff's budget.
Okay, so is this part of this 464, or is that for the,
Representative Babson, where are you?
Yeah.
well, I was on page 1,
Okay,
and now they say that it's coming up under the sheriff, so that it would be on page 8, and it would appear that he accepted grants of 24,464, and I guess my question then becomes, if the commissioners accept the grant, why does it go someplace else?
why does it
budget.
come up in the sheriff's budget?
Yes.
'Cause we
And is
accept-
this 24,464 the same one that the sheriff was talking about receiving, moving dispatch?
If I might, could Representative Babson point out to us what line item he's
Yes,
on?
where are you? Where are you,
On
Representative?
page 8, on the sheriff's department, second line item, Representative Chandler.
Second
Showing
sheriff.
last year, they accepted 24,464.
I got you now.
Okay, and now we've got 40,000.
And I have two questions. Does that include the moving of the, across the hall grant? And why is it here if the commissioners accept the grant?
There is a policy, and commissioners, tell me if this is right or not. We have requested that the grant process be that the department heads need to go to the commissioners to have approval of the grants, though it would still be within the department, but the department heads cannot accept grants without approval from the commissioners. Commissioner, is that right?
Correct.
Correct. So that's why it's in.
Then I will wait till the sheriff's department to follow
Yeah.
up on that.
That's good. That's a good thing. Okay. So are there any further, Representative McConkey, are there any further questions under the new equipment?
I do not, other than, no, there is not.
Okay. There is, I would like a motion to,
So move.
there's a motion by Representative Chandler to approve the 232-900. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Merrill. Okay, any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Commissioner's budget there. Let's go to the treasurers. If you look at the total for the treasurer under Department 4101, the amount is 6276. Is there a motion?
I'll move it.
Representative Merrill moves 6,267. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Representative Fleck. Any questions? Yes, Representative
Treasurer
Beckman.
isn't making much money, why don't we send him up to Hale's location?
Valid point, Representative.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we got that one.
With
Let's
an
go.
abstention.
Special fees and services. We have, under the auditors and legal fees, the sum total of $19,400. Is that questions? Motion. Anybody move?
Just a question.
You have a question,
We
Representative
only
Chandler.
spent $1,100 last year for legal fees, and this year's proposed $6,000. Is there some reason for that increase that's being
There will be.
contemplated? Pardon?
Yes, that you do have some legal fees
Yes, we do.
coming up.
Yep.
I think that may be one of the grievances that is going on.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
You look at
Thank you.
2010, we spent $6,555.
But in 2009, if I may, 1,121.
Yeah.
So I just
That's true, too.
Every other
Give an
day.
average here,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem to be working.
No. Is there a motion for 9,400?
19,000.
19,400.
Oh, I was gonna say 9 for you.
Come on, come on.
I didn't get the answer, Madam Chair, to the difference in the 11 and why it is going up to 6.
The commissioners are going to have legal fees that they need. They understand that they will have a process that they have to go through that will cost them money this year. They know that already. So 19,400.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I,
Motion by Representative Merrill, second by Representative Fleck. Question? Representative McCarthy, you have a question? No? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Let's go to Human Resources and Services under Department 4103. There's a bottom line number of $159,032. Any questions?
Yes, if I could.
Yes.
What's the new equipment?
New equipment, Robin?
There's a CPU, installation fees, licensing for Microsoft and Colonel Staffers.
Okay.
It was lowered from 2,000 to 1,800, and it'll be roughly $1,800.
Okay. $1,800. Representative Babson?
With the increase in the information technology contract, why is this department's use going down from 2000, what was actually spent in 2011?
That was the initial startup for the website. We had the initial fee for the website, which was around $5,000.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, Representative McConkey?
For the commissioners, I believe Cybertron is broken out now by department. Do you have a signed contract with them that includes all of these amounts at this point?
No, we do not have a signed contract. We have one bid in at our last meeting. Commissioner Kenny opposed or wished to go out for a second bid, because we only have one bid. So she is responsible for getting that second or third bid. She claims that she's going to talk with Chambers of Commerce and so forth to get that. And we've got until Wednesday to see if there's anybody interested. We did have two other people that saw the bid in the papers or wherever it was advertised, but they decided not to put a bid in.
Okay. Representative McConkey, your follow-up,
follow.
and then Babson and Fleck.
But your contract that you're hoping to execute with Cybertron,
Correct.
is that number solid? Is the percentage that Human Resources needs, the sheriff's contract, everyone, they've nailed down to a number?
Yes,
And that number's reflected here?
yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Representative Babson and then Fleck.
I guess this is sort of
It's
an
Cybertron
informational
and
question.
Comeau.
So Commissioner Sorensen. Commissioner Sorensen, was the bid for the information technology contract opened?
No,
So that whoever comes in again isn't having an unfair advantage?
that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, Representative Fleck.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I have a question about line 017, the education and conferences. That's level with the last year's budget, but it is a considerable increase over the 2010 and 2011 actual. And I'm wondering, is that due to personnel changes, or why are we looking at that much of an
We do
increase?
have a personnel change. The individual left because she wanted more than 30 cents an hour, and we said no. And she is now working for a legal firm, as far as I know, making more money than she was making here. I can't condemn her for doing that. If anybody can make more money someplace else,
So we're
Good for
going to
them.
spend roughly, what, $2,500 more than we did last year on education?
Robin's right
Robin.
there too. Yeah.
There's a couple of conferences that I've already signed up for, and we do on a yearly basis. Some of them are legal updates. I will be bringing my new person with me. Last year, we normally attend the New Hampshire Association of Counties conferences.
Right.
Last year, we hosted the conference, so there was no charge there.
Okay, fine, thank you.
it's
Okay.
held in North Conway.
Okay, there is for Department 4103 under Human Resources, $159,032. Is there any questions? Any further questions?
That's a 2% increase.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So move.
There's a motion by Representative Fleck, second by Representative McConkey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, let's go to Waterworks. We have a total of Waterworks at $56,614. Are there any questions?
Waterworks is down 1.8%.
Representative McConkey.
Thank you. List of new equipment?
That's just various water stuff that comes up if we need it. If you look in 2011, we budgeted $1,500, the same amount. We did not have emergency to buy a tool that was needed, so that we have that there in case pumps or something goes down that we need to purchase something that is unforeseen. Like I said, last year we didn't use it. That's what it's there for.
Okay, yes, Representative McConkey.
If I could follow up with Will? I know
Yeah.
there's a discussion this week, and you've gone out and received a price from a single vendor on water meters. Would it, in your opinion, be the appropriate budget here to discuss that?
If it's to the delegation's desire to get the water meters, I've got a couple of questions on that. A, they're for the county, but it is the water department, so I don't know who pays for it, because this is paid for by our water customers.
Okay.
How that affects, so I'm not sure.
It's not appropriate then at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions on the Waterworks? Yes, Representative
Yes,
McConkey.
did I understand it correctly that the new equipment, you don't have a list of what's proposed under the new equipment?
I don't at this time, sir. An example, 2010, if you look back, I had to purchase a pump that was used, and we needed it, so we purchased it. This last year, 2011, I didn't have any emergency tool that needed to be purchased, so I didn't spend it. It was left in there.
Okay. All right. Is there, Representative McCarthy? No, McConkey, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The uniforms, is that listed in here for this department? Uniform expense?
Yes, it is online.
Yes, it is.
It's account number 052. It looks like it's a $600 one right now.
May I
What's your
ask the
question?
commissioners a question on that?
Yes?
Presently for uniforms, waterworks, what are they using? Is this a discussion where they have some aprons, or they're not using aprons? This is in case they spill some chlorine on them. Is this work boots? What is this?
Yeah, it's all the above, as needed. Will, you want to speak to that?
It's pretty much all above. If there's clothes that get ruined and need to be replaced. Specialty equipment, I believe a couple years ago, we bought some protective reflector vests that were used. So it's kind of all above what we
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, what, Representative McCarthy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't think it's good policy to do things like this. The law states that every line item has to be specified for a particular purpose. Now, if you want to put in contingency or whatever, and I also would mention that it's a very simple matter, according to the RSAs, for an emergency expenditure of funds, if you break a pump or something like that blows up. So this $1,500 is, from what I understand, it's a contingency fund, really, because you don't have a list of equipment. And I believe a list of, if you have equipment that's too broad a definition, I think the equipment should be listed, and if not, put down contingency plan rather than equipment. And that's the way the law reads, too.
Yes, Representative Algren.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I apologize to the delegation for my tardiness. I had some car troubles this morning, but I was able to get here, obviously, since I'm here. I left a couple messages for you guys. I hope you got it.
That's evident.
Yes, I am here. Yes, some things are self-evident. I concur with Representative McCarthy's remarks and the use of what new equipment line is supposed to be used for and the purpose of the budget. The purpose of the budget is what goes under the new equipment line is the equipment that we plan on purchasing for this year. It's not for maintenance and repairs. This $1,500 should be in the maintenance and repair line if they need it. The objective of that is that from year to year we can look at the differentials in new equipment costs and have a clear understanding of how that affects the overall budget. That's the purpose of having a new equipment line. So if one year we spend $2 million for new equipment, then the next year we only spend $1 million for new equipment, that's easily broken out in the budget. So we can, because those flow down to our general fund. So Representative McCarthy is correct that if this money is purely just in case money, then it should be moved into the maintenance and repairs items because they're buying something to repair something essentially.
Do you want to make a motion to that effect?
Sure, I'll make a motion to that effect.
There's a motion by Representative Algren
Second.
to move the $1,500 from account number 097 up to maintenance and repair at 081 with a second by Representative McCarthy.
Discussion?
Yes, discussion. We'll have Representative Chandler and then
Yeah,
McConkey.
thank you. My question is, under the maintenance and repair line now, if I may, is that okay if I ask this question?
Yes.
It's $3,500, which is up considerably from the last 3 years' expenses. Is there something that we thought was gonna break down, we knew was gonna, or whatever. What's the 3,500 proposed for?
The 3,500 is just the
Same
the
as last year.
same we've always budgeted for. Obviously, we haven't used it, but our system is now, I believe, was put in 2001, 2003 time period. So we're looking at, give or take, 10 years. Some pumps are gonna go out. You know, that's maintenance repairs, to repair those pumps. Those pumps are not, different ones are not cheap, they're expensive. A small dosing pump that we had to put in just last year, I believe was in the range of $600 just for one little pump for one job. So, you know, if I don't use it, I turn it back like we did last year. If it's needed, because all of a sudden 6 pumps go out, I gotta have the money and I gotta be able to do it quickly.
So if I might further?
Yes.
My only comment is between the two line items, you would have $5,000, and you've not spent that much before, that's all. I think you can do away with the 1,500 and leave them with
I agree.
3,500, but
Well, that was gonna be my motion, but you kinda pushed me.
I thought that was your motion.
I pushed you into a motion. Do you want to
That's no
withdraw
big
your
deal.
motion and
No,
your
no.
second? Go right ahead.
I'm-
You do what you want
The
to
motion's
do.
still open to further amendment, Representative.
Whatever you want to do. Representative McConkey.
So I would concur with Representative Chandler and remove the $1,500 if this would be appropriate time from new equipment. And in the same motion, I would reduce uniform expense, which I believe
Can we,
is-
wait a minute. We're getting ahead of ourselves. I can't keep up with that.
Okay.
For the ease of record keeping, would Representative Algren withdraw his motion and second by Representative McCarthy to be able to add that to maintenance and repair so we can start with a clean motion? Would
Yes,
you
I withdraw my motion.
Representative McCarthy, will you withdraw your second?
I do.
Okay. Now, go ahead and do what you
Madam
want to do.
Chairman, I
Yes.
would ask to reduce and make a motion, reduce new equipment, which is line 97,
Mhm.
from $1,500 to zero,
Yep.
About $1.
One
$1.
keeps it open.
Line
Second.
52,
He hasn't finished yet.
under uniform expense, from $600 to from $600 to zero. And I'd like to speak to both of those.
Is there a second? Representative Algren, you want a second on that?
I'll second.
And 052 down to zero. Go right ahead. Representative McConkey.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. It has been a constant request of my 7 years that I've been here that the delegation be provided with a list of what new equipment is. New equipment every year at the last minute becomes something that was forgotten. Now, I fully understand, with the exception of the Sheriff's Department that I have an involvement with. The testimony from Will is that they don't know what the $1,500 is for. The discussion has come up that under repairs, it's already double in price. We have to, and I fully understand Will's position that things happen, but we need to go from what happens if something happens to what we need to do, to what we need to replace, what we need to put money away for years to come. We're reactionary always instead of planning. So I don't see a need for 1,500. I know there's 1,500 in there. If I look under uniform expenses in year 2009, 2010, I'm showing no monies expensed. I can understand clothing being destroyed by chlorine and things, but there's OSHA, there's everything else that tells me that workers are supposed to be protected from those hazards. They should be using aprons, they should be doing something else. We do not need to be buying people that go to work for us boots, pants, and jackets. I think they need to be responsible for their equipment when they come to work. So it'd be my reason for reducing those two items.
Okay, Representative Algren, do you want to
No,
add
that's just-
anything?
no,
Representative
thank
McCarthy.
I would like to add to Representative McConkey's statement that any uniform that it can also be used as civilian wear has to be, if you get a reimbursement for a uniform, it's taxable.
Representative Babson and then Merrill.
Thank you. I guess I don't agree with Representative McConkey. I think if the folks that work for the water department have to get out of the village and go knock on somebody's door, I think they ought to be